Without much further ado, nandyan na po ang ating guest ngayong hapon na to at nandyan na po, nag-aantay na rin po ang ating university president. I will give you the floor in the field of technology, Dr. Amihan April M. Alcazar and Dr. Jesus Rodrigo Torres. Sir, ma'am, take it away.
Yes, good afternoon again to all our viewers, of course, to the PLP community who are now tuned into El Pasigueño, the PLP virtual campus. So I'm very happy to join everyone and to be joined by our esteemed guest who is really an intrinsic part of the PLP community. So let me properly introduce our topic for today and also the background of our guest. So, of course, one of the main, if not the main function really of the higher education institution is in instruction and curriculum. And definitely we want to further our knowledge and understanding of the different fields of study. So for today, we will examine the field of technology. So even though we have not all of the technological fields being offered as courses or academic subjects in the Pamantasan and Lungsod and Pasig, we would like to seek out the experts in the different fields of study so that we may be further enhanced in our educational knowledge and experiential learning with respect to the field of technology. So our guest for this afternoon, it's evening here, so I make some mistakes here sometimes about the time. So he is currently the president of the Technological University of the Philippines. He was formerly the president of the Rizal Technological University and also one of the only 6 fellows of the Astronomical Society worldwide. And of course, he's very much an intrinsic part, as I mentioned, of our PLP community as a member of the board of Regents. So let us welcome everyone, Dr. Jesus Rodrigo Torres. So good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Mabuti naman. Okay lang kasi this morning I visited 2 campuses of TUP. Doon sa
Yes, sir.
Manila and then I went to TUP in Taguig to ask people to do things for the university. Kailangan yan eh. The TUP is a multi-campus university with 8 campuses. Hanggang doon sa Negros Occidental. That's why the president of the university should really work hard. So I'm already.
So it's very good, sir, that you had some time for us today. So as you know, one of the innovations that we have introduced on the occasion of our 21st anniversary, actually, it was long in coming. Last year was supposed to have been a landmark anniversary for the PLP with its 20th anniversary, but all our activities were canceled due to the COVID. So finally, yung realization of our innovation for the PLP virtual campus was realized this year, and we're very happy that we're continuing this program despite the pandemic at kahit po hindi na kami nagkikita-kita because right now, currently PLP campus is currently closed. There is currently quarantine facilities in our PLP campus, and of course, all personnel are on work from home mode. Kaya hindi po nagkikita-kita ngayon ng stakeholders ng PLP, students, faculty, or non-teaching personnel, or even our stakeholders. And this is our way of reaching out and communicating our services and our programs to our PLP community. So maraming salamat, Doc Chess, that you were able to join us for this afternoon. So maybe let's go and start with our very primary question, because we're really talking about the field of technology and for the benefit of our students. Maybe you can tell us how and when you actually decided that you had an interest in technology, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about what fields you actually explored before deciding on what you eventually took up in college for your studies. Doc Chess?
Okay, actually, kaya ako naging interested in technology and in the sciences, among others, it's because I happen to study in the Rizal Technological University. And
Yes.
Inevitable, hindi maiiwasan at talagang kailangan maging interesado ka dyan. working in the RTU for so many years, for 40 years, as a matter of fact, in various positions, such as Vice President for Administration and Finance, Vice President for Academic Affairs. It is inevitable that you will learn these things because you will have to manage them. More so, nung maging presidente tayo doon for 8 years, the requirements for the upgrading of laboratories, as well as
Yes.
the requirements for the upgrading of the curriculum, must be learned by the president. It does not mean that if you are the president kasi, or if you are the leader of the university will go by its own. Alam naman natin yan, ano?
Exactly.
Alam naman natin yan. The presidents and the leaders should continue to study and must
Yes.
never must never allow themselves na sila ay umandar na lang ng kusa. In automotive, hindi po pwede. You have to learn a lot of things. Do not stop
Yes.
learning.
Yes, perpetual students ang nasa
Oo,
education
tama,
sector.
tama.
So in the process of your work, as you said, dun sa Rizal Technological University, anong nakita niyo, Sir Jess, na dapat mga qualities or aptitude of our students so that if they do have an interest, they can eventually pursue careers related to technology? Ano bang mga qualities na hinahanap natin sa ating students that they should foster and develop?
Okay, kasi ganito, sa TUP naman, sa ngayon, I became president in September 2018, and then 2019, and then inaabot ng pandemic. Ano? Inabot ng
Yes,
pandemic.
inabot ng
Kaya
pandemic.
the requirements for the student has been evolving eh. Before, they just listen to lectures. No? Attend ang bata, ang estudyante, and then the teacher is in front, the teacher gives assignments, the teacher explains, and that's it. Ano? However, many years later, ngayon, during the pandemic, I think the teacher cannot teach as much as the teacher wants to. So the student must learn how to learn by themselves. Dapat matuto silang matuto sa
Independent.
sarili nila. And that means taking advantage of the opportunity to learn. No? Maswerte nakakapag-aral, lalo-lalo na sa atin, sa PLP, lalo na sa PUP, and in all state
Yes, sir.
universities and colleges and LUCs, libre sila ng matrikula. This is an opportunity which cannot be missed. Kaya, wag lang basta makinig sa lecture ng mga teacher. Wag lang basta sumagot ng assignment. You must do your own reading. You must pursue your own passion as well as your own interests. Ganyan.
Yes. So definitely, sir, how do you think we can meet the challenge, especially yung sa technological fields, usually requirement ang laboratory work or field work or practical application in the middle of this COVID pandemic?
Ganito, sa TUP, we have purchased a lot of licenses. Ano? I was talking to my University Information and Technology Center director. He
Yes, sir.
informed me that so far we have purchased about 500 licenses for, ano pa lang to, automotive engineering. Okay,
Isang pa lang
200,
yan, sir.
isang program pa lang, 20 licenses for virtual conferencing and meetings. We had to renew our Microsoft Teams program, Google G Suite, and others.
Yes.
You know, well, actually, in 2019 we purchased about 200 computer units
Like
that were distributed to the various campuses. Hindi pa natin alam na magkakaroon ng pandemic, pero nagka-pandemic kaya very useful itong 200 computer units na ito. And
yes,
most importantly,
definitely.
siyempre, we have to upgrade our internet connection. university. It starts with the university. So those are some
Yes.
things we are doing. A few days ago, last week, we had a meeting about the purchase of the subscription to e-books and e-journals,
Journals.
together
Yes.
with all the librarianship support to our students. Um, so, yeah, we recalibrated our policies pertaining to the design, development, and review of learning packages. Kasi lalo na ngayon, ang mga teacher, they have to create their own learning packages to be approved by the
Yes,
Department
pack
of
nila,
Education.
diba? Force packs.
Oo, ayan kailangan yan Kaya iba ngayon, ang
Yes.
ating course of action. Previously, while everything was going all right, we had to we buy equipment, we review the curriculum. Pero this time, technology, the interconnectivity has become a very important aspect of running a university.
Yes, sir. So, because Technological University of the Philippines is supposed to be in the forefront of technological innovation among higher education institutions in the Philippines. So, what sort of parameters of advice can you give to other higher education institutions, sir, in order to venture into these technological advancements for the delivery of their academic programs? Because
Ang
yun nga,
number
not all universities have been geared towards technology.
number one dyan they have to study how the other universities which are dealing in technology are run. Paano pinatatakbo? They have to benchmark. That is the most
Yes.
important
So,
thing. And then
benchmarking, yes.
benchmarking ang pinaka-importante dyan. If it is possible to their deans, their department heads, and even the vice presidents should visit, if it is possible, to visit the campuses of these universities and look into the laboratory, to the laboratories, tignan nila yung mga curriculum, keep on talking. Eventually, magkakaroon sila ng memorandum of agreement with that university, and that's it. If they have the heart for it, they will be able to pursue what their objectives regarding technology.
Yes. Okay. So you mentioned about your career dun sa RTU when you started to develop your interest in technology and then eventually nga as president of TUP. But on the other hand, another aspect of your career had been an academic career. Paano naman you, sir, na-decide and when did you actually have an interest in pursuing an academic career? Maybe this is something that our students would also want to hear from you and explore further future career development.
Biglang dumating, President Amihan, biglang
Yes,
dumating
sir.
yung bagay na yan, I was not thinking of it.
Talaga?
I was not thinking of it. I was thinking of going to the corporate world. Uh,
Mhm.
pero I come from a family of teachers kasi. My
Yes, sir.
grandfather, my grandfather was a teacher for 42 years at the Rizal High School. Ang mga
Yes,
naging
sir.
estudyante nga nila, sila Vito Salonga, sila Nepal
Yes, sir.
Gonzalez,
Talagang alumnus ng Rizal
mm,
High School po ngayon.
Rizal High School sila Rene Sabisag, Bobit Sanchez. They were some of his students in those 42 years of being teacher in the Rizal High School. Pagkatapos,
Yes, sir.
both mother side and father side, I have
Mhm.
aunts and uncles who are and who were teachers. Kaya siguro it runs in the blood. Kaya
Mhm. Family
immediately,
pala, ha?
nasa immediately after I graduated in college, at the age of 20, I was given a teaching load already. So, wala na.
Mhm.
Nandun na tayo Di pangatawanan na natin. Magturo na tayo. And the first subject I
So,
had,
tuloy-tuloy naman. Pero sir,
Mm.
what do you think would be the qualities that could possibly make academicians or those who choose the teaching profession successful? What sort of aptitude should they develop as students or even as graduates right now?
Okay, ganito, the student or the academician, katulad ng pinag-aralan natin kanina, must never stop learning. Okay?
Lifelong learning, sir.
Lifelong learning talaga. For example, dito, I am actually in my room. I have plenty of books here. You see, puro libro itong nakapaligid sa akin dito. I spend most of my
Puro
waking
mga
hours.
libro.
Lalo
Yes.
na ngayon, pandemic, papasok tayo ng kalahating araw. And then,
Yes, sir.
uuwi na tayo. I go back to this room, to this library, and start reading. I spend most of my waking hours here reading books. Ganyan eh. Kaya, uh, that is the best preparation for a teacher. For
Yes,
example,
sir.
you want to teach the subject psychology, then you must know the subject and you must read. Hindi
Yes.
lang yung nabasa mo yung textbook, but keep on reading, keep on reading. That's it.
So, talagang lifelong learners tayo as
So,
teachers.
yeah.
And of course, what you don't know, you can always learn. Tama, sir?
Mm, tama.
Definitely. Sir, so let's go naman dun sa medyo kakaiba nga when we found out about your background that you really became this distinguished fellow on the field of astronomy. And that field is not really got established, especially in the Philippines. So how did that interest come about? And paano nyo naman, sir, dinevelop eventually your distinguished career in the field of astronomy?
Ganito yan eh. Medyo, well, for other people, it might be interesting. Uh, ang isang bata, halimbawa, begins being interested in the heavenly bodies, ano? Halimbawa, stars, planets, whichever, ano yan, titingala yan. Okay? Ewan ko ngayon kasi light pollution in the Metro Manila is
Preventing
already,
from seeing the stars.
wala na. The stars are extinct. Almost all the stars are extinct here in Metro Manila.
Yes.
We have become probably as bright as the brightest city in the world, which is Singapore. Kaya wala na. I don't know if our students have seen the Milky Way yet. Pero the interest comes naturally, you know. And then I had a telescope. You know, may kasabihan tayo sa astronomy that knowledge comes through the telescope. Now, combined with
Yes.
doon sa ating passion for doing research, what I did was to read and read and read because knowledge is the most important tool of an astronomer. It is not telescope, it's not binoculars,
Yes.
but knowledge is the most important tool of the astronomer. So I kept on reading, and when I started observing, I wrote my observations. Eventually, umabot ng mahigit 30 volumes yung aking observations.
Wow.
Okay.
Kaya pala ganun ang nangyari sa distinguished career niya, sir.
Oo, and at volume 15, I was already elected as member of the International Astronomical Union. So it is passion, uh, the desire to learn true and true. Astronomy is not really a developed field in the country. There is only one university offering it, RTU. And it
Yes, sir.
started because of the efforts, because of my efforts, medyo modesty set aside. Kaya nagkaroon ng astronomy dyan kasi may
Astronomy.
nagpa-umpisa. May nagpa-umpisa.
Yes.
Ganyan.
Yeah. So, and that is one of your accolades for being an innovator in the field of astronomy, especially sa Philippines. So as an astronomer, as you mentioned nga, what do you think will be the possible developments of this field in the Philippines? Di ba ngayon nga, we really want to have space exploration, at least in other countries. How about in the Philippines, sir?
Ganito, I think it must emanate from the top. Ano? Katulad nung nagkaroon ng ang astronomy, ang RTU,
Yes, sir.
nakilala ko sa Philippine Astronomical Society sina Father Victor Baguio of Ateneo. He
Yes,
was
sir.
then,
May observatory kasi sila, diba?
observatory. He was former director of the Ateneo, of the Manila Observatory. And then
Yes, sir.
when my work reached 7 volumes, nagpunta ako ng Pag-asa to give them copies.
Mhm.
Nakita ko si Dr. Bernardo Soriano of Pag-asa, and then Dr.
Yes, sir.
Cynthia Celebre, and we became friends. And after that,
Mhm.
we had plans. And then those
Mhm.
plans resulted into the astronomy programs of RTU. Now,
Mhm.
in 2006, Dr. Soriano was proposing the creation of the National Committee for Astronomy because at that time, tatlo na kami na members ng
Yes, sir.
IAU. Okay?
Mhm.
In 2009, the National Committee for the International Year of Astronomy was created. Pero after that, wala na.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think pagka nagkita kami ni Secretary de la Peña of the OST, I will reiterate this proposal to him para
Yes,
magkaroon
sir.
ng National Committee for Astronomy. Ngayon, sa space agency,
Mhm.
nagkausap kami ni Dr. Marciano, ni Joel Joseph Marciano. And
Yes, sir.
this is one of the topics we discussed, the creation of
Mhm.
the National Committee for Astronomy. And together with
Yes,
Dr. Dr. Caster Jucaris, ngayon of PNRI, who is also a member of the IAU, baka
Mhm.
i-propose uli namin. Buti na
Yes,
paalala
sir.
mo sa akin, President. Tatawagan ko mamaya si
Because that
Dr.
is
Caster.
like one of the emerging trends, di ba, in other
Mhm.
countries, sir. And syempre meron naman talaga tayong mga distinguished fellows and professors like yourself. And as you mentioned nga, kung 2007 pa or 6 pa yung last active initiative nyo to really create entities or bodies, maybe you should take it up again, sir, as one of the prime innovators in the field of astronomy. Di ba, sir?
Tawagan ko mamaya si Dr. Caster. Buti napaalala mo. Nakakalimutan ko
Di
yun.
ba?
Nasa PNRI na siya ngayon. Dati nasa CHID eh. Yung PNRI.
Yes. Di ba,
Oo.
sir? Yun. And
Oo.
then, so basically, you've been through, well, almost, should I say, 5 decades, sir, already of being in the academic field and in the technological field, basically as a field of study. So, because actually, yung program po natin dito sa El Pasigueño is really being hosted by the Office of Student Affairs. And basically, of course, one of the main functions of student services is on the career guidance and counseling of our students. So from your end, sir, what sort of career guidance and advice can you impart to our students who are listening right now? We are live on Facebook and YouTube on our channels in PLP. If they are currently or want to pursue a career in technology. Sa amin naman po in PLP, we have computer science, information technology, nursing, and electronics and communications engineering. And of course, someday we hope that we will be able to enter into agreements with state universities like TUP or RTU for articulation agreements to further our study in the field of technology. So siguro po you would want to address our students because STEM is really one of those fields that we really want to encourage actively in the Philippines in order for us to move forward and develop. Yes, sir.
Oo, mag-aral kayo ng mag-aral. Halimbawa, nakuha niyo na yung course na IT o kaya
Yes,
computer
sir.
science o kaya nursing or electronics engineering. Aba, nako, huwag niyo sayangin ang pagkakataon. Itong pagkakataon, pinaka-importante. Study hard, study well, ano? At kasi, alam niyo, mabilis lumipas ang kabataan natin eh. Yung kabataan niyo, sandali lang yan eh. And then afterwards, you will become parents yourselves, you will become husbands and wives. Kailangan mabuti na yung ilang taon na naghahanda kayo para sa totoong buhay, samantalahin
Yes,
ninyo.
as
At,
students.
oo, samantalahin nila itong mga bata sapagkat ito madaling lumipas at mahirap manghinayang. Samantalahin nyo, you have the opportunity not all people have. Ganyan lang,
Yes,
Mr. President.
yun nga eh. Especially, di ba, sir, sa STEM, madami namang mga initiatives and incentives ang ating mga students and graduates, especially in this field, kasi gusto nga natin silang i-encourage to continue studying in the field of the STEM. And then lastly, of course, besides yung syempre yung education natin, there's on the academic side of it. But how about, sir, yung possible involvement naman nila for the educational enhancement outside of the actual curriculum and instruction? What kind of advices can you give them? Because meron din tayong mga student organization, extracurricular activities, or other leadership training na pwedeng gawin ng ating mga students.
Okay, ganito yan. When I was Dean of Student Affairs myself, that was
Yes.
a long time ago. Almost more
Not
than
so
3
long
decades.
ago.
Ang tagal na. I was Dean of Student Affairs nung pagkamatay ni Ninoy Aquino, 1983. So that was the
Okay.
1983.
1983.
Oh, 83.
Parang hindi pa ata buhay yung iba nating students from PLB, sir, nung panahon na
Oh,
yan.
wala pa. Wala pa sila. That was 1983, pinakamatindi ang student activism noong mga panahon na yon. Pero,
Yes, sir. Definitely. I was one of those.
mas matindi pa yan kaysa noong first quarter storm noong
Yes,
1969,
definitely.
1970 up to 1972. Pero just
Mm.
the same, nakakakita ko all throughout ng mga student organizations who make themselves valuable, no, who make themselves useful not only to the members of the organization but also to the community. Kaya ano
Yes, sir.
ang isang magandang program dito is to link the extension projects of the university with the student organization kasi ang
Yes, sir.
student organizations ang gusto nilang mangyari magkaroon ng kabuluhan yung kanilang existence. Okay? Hindi yung puro sila debate, yung puro meeting lang, hindi. Kung gusto ninyong magkaroon ng kabuluhan ng existence ninyo, kayong mga student organizations, then do something good to your fellow men. Ganyan eh.
Yes.
Tumulong tayo sa kapwa-tao. As to how it's going to be done, pwede nating, we can have several, we can think of programs on how to do it. Ganun yan.
Yes, sir. So, bumalik talaga tayo, sir, doon sa what are the main functions really of the higher education institution, instruction and curriculum, research,
Oo.
yung sinabi nyo, never-ending studies, then, of course, yung extension or outreach programs, and finally, production, yung outcomes natin for our students and our graduates.
Meron nga pala akong naalala, ano?
Yes, sir.
Ang isang paraan, halimbawa, katulad nitong tutoring, ano, yung sa TUP
Pwede
sa
yan, sir.
Visayas.
Peer
Oo.
tutorial.
Oo, yung ano kasi merong mga, alam nyo, ang hirap maging nanay ngayon siguro. Ano? Kami mga tatay, hindi naman kami masyadong involved. Pero ang hirap maging nanay. Meron kang 3 anak, puro nag-o-online.
Yes.
Okay? Pagkatapos tayo tanong ng tanong, ikaw ang mag-tutor. Alam niyo ginawa ng mga taga-TUP Visayas ng mga student organizations? They volunteer
Yes, sir.
to tutor pupils, yung mga bata, maliliit. Hindi sila ang nagtuturo. Hindi naman siguro hindi masyadong matindi ang ECQ doon sa kanila. Kaya nakakapagbahay-bahay sila.
Pwedeng pumunta pa.
pwedeng pumunta pa, natuturuan nila yung mga bata. Siguro that's one way of making a sense of your existence as a student organization ngayong mga panahon na to. Ganoon.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's one
And of
example.
course, as we know, as teachers, you cannot teach what you do not know. So malay nyo nga, sir, through this tutorial program nila, yung mga students natin, the more sila mahasad, the more they become proficient in the subjects because then they have the opportunity to learn how to teach it to other students and other
Oo.
young people, di ba?
Mm.
So,
At saka
lalo
sabi ng
silang
ano,
pwede maging proficient.
sabi ng direktor ng PUP Visayas Campus, the students find it very fulfilling and very satisfactory yung nakikita lang, natututong mag-multiply yung mga maliliit na bata, natututong mag-divide, at saka nagiging idol sila ng mga maliliit. Kaya nakakatuwa.
Di ba? Eh, di ba sir, yun naman yung greatest joy as teachers, yung accolade that your students become better than you are, hindi ba?
Oo, tama.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Di
Oo.
ba? And of course, to transform others. Kung before, non-reader sila, pagkatapos mo silang turuan, naging reader na sila, hindi ba?
Yeah, oo. That's right. Oo.
And if we didn't know math before, naging math whiz sila eventually. So, napakagandang transformation at ang education. Sir, siguro po yung pinaka-last part na lang ng ating interview. As part of the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig Board of Regents, which we know is the highest policy-making body of the university, what sort of developments and strategies do you foresee for a young higher education institution like ourselves to move forward and develop further for the future?
Basta ano lang yan, wala namang secret formula dyan eh. Basta we will do our best all the time, keep on improving. Alam mo, ang philosophy, managerial philosophy ko dyan, leadership philosophy, actually, is Confucius. Ang sabi ni Confucius, if you want to build a mountain, start carrying small stones. Okay, so mga
Yes.
maliliit na bagay, try to achieve them, and then soon you will find na ang dami mo na palang nagawa para sa university, and that the university is already, suddenly it will discover itself, people will wake up and say, we are one of the best universities in the country already. Ganun lang. Pamantasan.
Yes, sir. So we look forward to more exchanges for you, sir, and of course advice insofar as the strategic policy making in the university is concerned. So siguro po, sir, dahil tayo magtatapos na ng El Pasigueño for today's episode, maybe you can give and impart some inspirational words to our students who really will have these aspirations, especially kayo po ay isang tubong Pasigueño, and we want to, of course, have that aspiration in the same way that you've had to really transform yourself through education, sir.
Oo, ayan. Kaya ang pinakamaganda, di mag-aral tayong mabuti, make our lives meaningful, help people, be successful, so that one day we will be proud of you. Aral ng aral, help people, and then we will be proud of you. Ika nga,
Yes,
make
sir.
your teachers proud.
Yes, exactly. So make ourselves proud. So Pasig is very good. So thank you so much, sir. So magkikita tayo muli very soon, I assure you. And I'm certainly looking forward to working with you again, sir. So again, Dr. Jesus Rodrigo Torres, the President of the Technological University of the Philippines, who joined us through Pasigueño, and of course, one of the awardees of our Dangal ng Pasig. So thank you very much, sir, for gracing us in our episode of El Pasigueño, the PLP Virtual Campus for today. So stay safe and healthy, sir. And
Okay.
let's look forward to meeting again very soon. Maraming salamat po, sir.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, sir.
President. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, sa uulitin po.